It's September 28th. It's a little after 10 o'clock in the evening, of course. I jumped ship on a course that I had about 3/4 of the way done through in my mind, planning and stuff, and decided that I was going to save it for Sunday because I hadn't get into producing the video. I wanted to research a few more things before I actually did it. Going to Sioux Falls tomorrow for sure. I'm going to drain the batteries off and all of my camera equipment and get a good video going. Anyhow, so I'm going to be putting out a really cool video for Sunday. You're going to have to watch that one. This is going to be a little bit of a project video. It's just going to be a taste of what I want to do in the future. So I have mentioned this a little bit in some of my videos. I am working on a book, Tornado in the Garden. I have been journaling since I was in the 8th grade. I had to take a creative writing class or something in the 8th grade. It was a required class, and I never stopped writing from that point on. I have been homeless in California when I was 18. I'm from Northwest Iowa. I, through a series of events, was rescued from homelessness, and I moved up to Seattle, where I lived for about 7 months and left everything I owned. Took a bus from Seattle with 2 bags of clothes and some odds and ends, and to Miami with $101 in my pocket. Got a cool story to tell you about that bus ride, but that's for another time. Anyhow, so I get to Miami. I think I was there 4 months, and then I came back home up to Northwest Iowa. I believe I was back here about 1.5 years, and then I went back down to Florida. I was there for 3, and then I moved back here about 20 years ago in a couple months. So that's my story in a nutshell, where I've been, how I got here, what about me. So I'm saving a big project for Sunday, as I mentioned a little bit ago. I'm going to work on a little bit of that tomorrow. That will be Friday, and I'll probably do a little bit more work on it Saturday, because I want to post it Saturday night, Sunday morning. So Saturday is going to be most of the footage for that. I'm going to try to post videos the night that I do them. I'm going to see if I can try to start now posting everyday videos and get them posted on the day that I make them. But I'm not going to hold myself too stringent on that at any point. One thing I've noticed with some of you great YouTubers out there is what ends up happening is you tell us that you're going to do something like, oh yeah, I'm going to do Monday through Friday, and then we don't hear from you on Friday, and then you post something on Sunday, and then you're back on Tuesday. And so I'm going to try not to put myself in too rigid of a category and put too high expectations. Again, I'm going to try to share that this is a learning experience and how I've learned and what I'm finding out. And I made a video, you guys, for those of you who are watching, about EMDR therapy for people with PTSD from traumatic experiences and traumatic life experiences. I highly recommend checking into that. It's a very highly skilled, trained, focused of special therapy that do that. It is a wonderful, wonderful therapy. You just have to let it happen when you do go through the therapy, because it does work. Give it all its faith, because there is an organic and natural way about how it was found, and it does deliver a very natural process in a very highly trained, fast, modernized way. I'm just very in favor of it. I think it's amazing. and there's going to be a lot more EMDR therapy treatment people. That I am doing because of what happened to me at the hospital. All I can say on that, I mentioned it before, and it just gets me all... So it has caused me some health... my long-term health problem, underlying biggest health problem, has definitely been severely damaged because of my PTSD and anxiety because of what happened to me in January 2011. All triggered because of somebody with some very severely mental illness that was untreated and high on drugs and alcohol, from my understanding of it all. So I do have a little bit of fear of people who seem a little out of control when they've been drinking, or if they seem like they're having some sort of a psychological, what would you call it? When somebody has a manic, when somebody has a pinpointed manic outburst, it scares me. Those people scare me because they're unpredictable, and I've seen how people lose control and how they can hurt people. Those kind of people do scare me. And any of those people who are watching this video, you don't scare people if you get some help. And I highly suggest, if you scare people, if you're into it and you think it's funny, which unfortunately I know there's going to be some of you out there that enjoy that aspect of it, and I'm sorry for that, and I'm sorry that no one taught you how to love and what love meant. And I wish that you could open yourself up enough that you could let somebody teach you, because it's never too late to try something and learn and be a different person. I'm 45 years old. This is the first time in my life that I feel like I've been able to grab hold of my life and try to engage myself. And the only way I can be comfortable and allow myself to open up is by doing that by myself. So I am just a very awkward person when I'm in public. Oftentimes seek jobs where I have a lot of control over my environment, and so for most of my life I have worked in places where at least my immediate circle of where I'm at, I have some authority and control and expectation of my interactions. It's gonna be, I'm like the Nell. Wasn't that the show Nell, the girl who lived in the woods? In a very weird sort of way, that is how my childhood was. Unfortunately, I did interact with family and stuff, and I went to public school, and but my true interactions with people, that's a scary thing to think back. Videos for the future, that's what that is. I'm not sure what is going to happen tomorrow, but I've mentioned this. I'm not going to keep mentioning, but I mentioned things and I need to get that out. But so this is going to be a hard struggle for me, but I'm going to let things evolve, and I apparently feel like I'm going to be the opposite of what every YouTuber does, and that is make things look better than they are. I am making things look better than they are because my house is a mess. So it's like that everywhere, and I went into a psychological paralyzed state for about 18 months, and I'm still extremely fragile to having that happen. It still happens to me, but not now. It's only for like a day or 3 days or a week. That can happen often. I think that I can fake myself through those days long enough to make a 5-minute video. That's one of the things that attracts me to being on YouTube and doing this and trying to build a community and a social group around me, is because of the bad days that I have. The YouTube and using it as a career and a platform for social injustices, I guess, is what my thing is going to be. And it's I just genuinely do love all different kinds of people. Like, the more different you are than me, the more I have this attraction for you. I just really, really like different kinds of people, and whether it's the color of your skin or style of your clothes, the mannerisms of your walk or talk, or history or plans or future or age or continent, or there is so much to be learned from people, and I wish that people would just really embrace, and I know I've mentioned this before, but it's a phrase that has really driven a lot of my thoughts over the years. I already was this person in my mind, but the quote came later, and it become almost my motto, and that is what Roy Rogers said, and I believe President Coolidge or somebody used it too, but they borrowed it from Roy Rogers. So if that's not the right president because timeline doesn't fit, then I got it wrong. Oh, call me out. That's what the internet likes to do. I don't remember which president was, but I can tell you this much, is I quoted that, the quote come from that president for a couple years before I found out that it actually originated from Roy Rogers. And it's been so many years since that's happened that I forgot, and I do have a problem with names. I can't learn people's names. They're really, really hard for me. I can have worked with people for a year, and I have days when I can't remember their name. And my mom was with her third husband for like 7 years, and it wasn't until the 6th year that at every time I always remembered his name. And it wasn't that I didn't remember it, but the harder I thought about it when I couldn't remember it, the farther away it went. Just have always had a problem with names, and I did find out from a visit from my family doctor, who told me that kids who have been through trauma like I have had issues with learning people's names. And in fact, my doctor said he has the same problem, and that he had talked to a neurologist, and the neurologist was the one who was telling him that was the case. I found that interesting. Anyhow, so I'm going to take a break right here for a bit, you guys. Get me a drink and maybe watch a little TV on, I say TV and I mean YouTube, because I'm a YouTube fan. So I think YouTube is going to be potentially an amazing platform for lots of people. And if you really feel passionate that you're a person who people can learn from, and you can be somewhat creative and have a voice, and don't let being a newbie to it all distract you, because I think it was about the 4th video that I made that I felt fairly confident and comfortable talking in front of the camera, even around in public. It was a quick transformation, but it was really awkward in the beginning. So that will happen, and you can get used to it. If you think that you are those things, I would say go get it. Go get yourself a YouTube channel, set yourself up, find yourself some good YouTubers. I think that I would be a good one for you to watch, to learn if you've never done it before, just to see how I've done it. Here's a little thing. I have been studying YouTube for about 7 years now. But I didn't know I was studying YouTube until about 3 years ago. And then in the last a little over a year, probably about a year ago this time, maybe a little bit sooner than this, I don't remember exact time, is when I decided that I was considering being a YouTuber. Seriously, it's serious consideration. And then between thinking about it last July or October or whatever, through until February when I made my first official YouTube video on my other channel, because I've completely washed all of my social media that I've had for years and years and years and years and years, and I've started over with a new everything. Someday I'm going to tell you just how much new I have started over with. It's pretty dramatic what I've done. So getting back to studying YouTube, I know that from studying for the last 3 years, what I've picked up is sort of like a formula and a way to make it on YouTube. I think YouTube is a temporary platform to get yourself out there, but I don't think that people, as a matter of fact, are entertaining enough to do it for a long period of time unless they can have somebody making YouTube videos for them that are entertaining. And that's going to be my long-term goal. That is my 10, 15 year, possibly even 20-year plan, because that'll put me, it depends on who knows where YouTube is going to go and be and who their competitors are going to come up with. You know, we're talking 20, 30 years ahead. I actually could foresee myself having some sort of platform on YouTube for the next 40 years, honestly. Somewhere within the next 15, 20 years, I'm going to have it primarily focused on people who have apprenticed under me that can take over and do videos for me. I am, like I've mentioned, I'm planning on having somewhat of my own production film TV network station studio for a 10-year plan. I want to have something going. By 5 years, I want to have a brick and mortar studio going, and I want to use that as a platform to teach other artists to get themselves a YouTube channel together. I'm going to be looking for particularly homeless artists who I feel have what it takes to make it, and I don't think it takes a whole lot to be entertaining if you're an artist and put it to video and get yourself out there. I think that every person should get a YouTube channel at some point in their college career. I think it would be a good platform for college students to get because it teaches you how to see yourself as others see you, and how you sound and how you look and how you interact. When you grab this camera and you walk downtown and you videotape yourself interacting with people, and then play it back in a video editing manner, you see yourself differently, and it is fantastic. It's fantastic. Like, it is something that everyone should do, and I think it's going to make me a much, much better person, and it'll make you a much better person too. Let's take a break here. I said this before, but let's take a break, and I'll be back in a bit. See ya.